Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today, or this evening, or this morning, wherever the heck we all are today, I'm talking about what makes me very happy and a little bit nostalgic. It is, of course, Ireland. When Teresa travels, I think I'm going to make it Teresa Travels Tuesdays. Make Tuesdays my travel days. Love Ireland, love everything about it. And there's a reason why I have so many videos and things because guess what? I lived there and I went back there just about every year until Movid came and ruined everything. Look who's in the chat. Look who's in the chat. It is none other than Jana Catania. Oh my gosh, did I say it wrong again? Catania, Mrs. Catania. My parents are leaving in less than a month for Ireland and Scotland. Oh, I am so jealous. I am so jealous. I'm going to get my buttocks over there. Again, I used to usually go every July 4th ish because that is when they have the conference in Cork with Cardinal Burke. It's called FODA. They have lots of really good theology subjects, and Cork City is, of course, the most beautiful city in Ireland. Well, today we're going to go to Glendalough. I hope your parents are going to go to Glendalough because it is amazing. It is amazing. And of course, St. Bridget's Cathedral. Well, we're going to go into that. It's still lovely, but there's also some sad history there as well. I'm jealous too, says Mrs. Catania. Mom is Scottish, and we have a castle or two over in Scotland. They get to visit. Yay! Yes. Yes, always go see some castles when you are over there in Europe, especially in Ireland. You can stay in some too. Some of them are all fixed up for it. Jariah's Labit is here. Hello. Can't watch now, but we'll catch up later. Love your videos. Also, by the way, I'm the Road Warrior. Just changed my name. Oh, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, that can get a little bit confusing. And Jana or Jana, if you could please indulge me and help me make sure I'm saying your name correctly, and I will do my utmost to not make that error again. I will make a note of it because I know that that's kind of awkward when someone says someone's name incorrectly. Let's see. All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's just jump into this. I just can't wait to share because I love this more than life itself. Rhymes with banana. Jana banana. Okay, I am going to screenshot this right. Oh, fudge. Oh, good. I just kicked myself out of my stream. No, I did not. I am right now putting this in there. Jana, thank you. Let's go ahead and go here. And of course, there's loads of lovely things that you can see in Ireland, especially if you want to make it a pilgrimage kind of thing. But as you can see, when we get to St. Bridget's Cathedral, there is some history you need to know before you go to Sunday Mass. So, Glendalough. If that is not on their tour, make sure it becomes part of the tour. Let me change the screen so you can all just see the whole picture. There we go. Glendalough is relatively close to Dublin. It is in County Wicklow. I was so happy because there's something called the St. Kevin's Express, which is a private bus service that's been run by some family since like 1916. You catch it right off of Grafton Street in Dublin, and it takes you there and takes you back. So if you're like me and you can't drive in Ireland, that's best way to do it. So, perfect way. You get there in the morning, come back in the evening. So I was able to do this by myself. And of course, later when I went back with my sister. Hello, Corey. I think I said hello, but I'll say hello again. So this is where we are. So we are now orientated in Wicklow Mountains. So who's hanging out in Glen? Oh, I had the wrong picture next. Glendalough is a gorgeous place. Glendalough, of course, it means between two lakes. Glendalough, loch means lake in Irish. Not only is there the marvelous monastery area, but also the lakes and the trails are really worth doing. Now, you can make a nice little pilgrimage out of it because there's loads of little stops along there, but also it's just a great trail. 12-mile trail. Who's hanging out in Glendalough? Why, this is St. Kevin. St. Kevin was the one who founded the monastery at Glendalough. He lived in the 6th century, and we have some reliable things about him. Some Irish saints can be a little bit shady because they like to add so much legend in with their stories. And it was acceptable to do that. Like, that's what the cool kids did. It wasn't considered bad history. Hello, it is Jacob Ironside. Hello, we are going to Glendalough, a very, very beautiful place in Ireland. The first monastery in this area obviously was founded by Saint Kevin in the 6th century, right after Saint Patrick. Then the buildings we're going to see date back to about the 9th, 10th century. Aerial view, not my pick as you can see, but I like to give these aerial views. This, you can see the gorgeous 2 lakes. There's the round tower, it has a magnificent round tower. This one's almost perfect. A lot of the round towers you'll see in Ireland will not be complete. Like maybe the top's all messed up or something. Oh, let me get that off of there so people can see. Here we are. And various buildings and churches and locations there, and graveyards. People are still being buried in these areas. Let's see. All right, just keep my eye on the chat here. So this is from the top. Now we're going to go from Teresa's point of view. This just killed me. I thought this was hysterically funny. They have 2 different food trucks. One's called St. Kevin's Kitchen, a little bit of a play on one of the buildings we're going to see later, but it's also a kitchen. So, yay. You can get hot food, fish, chips, hamburgers, etc. So if you're all starving, don't worry, you can get something from St. Kevin's Kitchen. And Kevin's cones, this cracked me up too. It's for St. Kevin, sitting out there being a hermit, praying for us sinners, and 1,500 years later, people are going to be eaten ice cream cones with his name on it. And you can see here the flake coming out of the ice cream cone. That's how they serve ice cream cones over there, with a chocolate flake in it. This particular day was rather warm, but they eat ice cream over there even when it's cold. They don't care. They're like Russians. This is kind of the entrance area to it. Note the double arch that's still intact. This is where the extern monk or someone that would all be, so you would enter here. Of course, a lot of these monasteries were not big buildings. They were enclosures with several small buildings. So check out this double arch. Served as protection as well. I don't know why I zoomed in on this rock, but I guess I felt like it showed some detail. I think that's why I did, because of the detail you can see here. Jacob Ironside said somebody over there should come up with a food truck called Kevin's Bacon. Oh. Why not? Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Look at that lake. Gorgeous. I forget which one of the 2 lakes this is. It might be the northernmost. Just beautiful. We did not do the full hike because we weren't hiking, but got this very nice picture. See how the sun comes down through it. And I believe I zoomed in. I did zoom in. Somewhere up there is what they call St. Kevin's bed. That is where St. Kevin went in a cave to get away from everyone, and I don't blame him, but I can't find which one it is. I zoomed in, so it must be there somewhere. Yeah, St. Kevin is my hero because he did what I've always wanted to do, just become a hermit. Except I wouldn't have liked to have been a hermit his way, where you just lived in a cave. I'm going to be the kind of hermit with Wi-Fi. and not living in a cave, or if I have a cave, make sure it's very nice, warm, and insulated. Look at the ducks. Actually, that might be a swan. Look how gorgeous it is. Very peaceful. You can stay there as a lay retreat. It's still run, I believe, by some sisters. I'm not entirely sure. And you can be a little hermit for a week or a weekend. You get your own little spot, and meals are like in a little common area. You can do a silent retreat or a guided retreat. I thought about doing it once, but then life happened. Ah, there's a nice little waterfall there. I always get really cold though watching these. Because even when it's warm in Ireland, it's cold, if that makes sense. Here we are. Now we're at the monastery proper. One of the buildings, one of the most intact ones, is nicknamed St. Kevin's Kitchen. That's why I said that. It is one of the several small churches on the location. And you can also see the various graves all about. This is the main church, the cathedral. You can see the birds have been here. Not intact. You can walk inside. Here it is inside. And you see the people all buried there in the ground, the slabs. This is facing the high altar. I'm going to get closer so you can get a look at that. Oh, wait, that's not the altar. This is a little not the sacristy thing. I was never obviously an altar server, so I don't know what this is. That's where you put like all the oils and the wine and all that. So like when you're serving, the the servers, the altar, commonly called altar boys, would go and take and bring them over. But you don't have to be a boy, obviously, because if you had a bunch of monks, they would also be helping you with the mass, of not children. Look at that round tower. Check it out. Something very unique to Ireland. I believe there are 50 to 60 of these still around, but not as in good condition. Here you can get a closer look. I talked previously about why the doors were up this high. There used to be a myth that people would go in there to run away from the Vikings. However, anyone that knows anything knows that's the last thing you'd want to do. um, Mainly, the architecture is such that you don't really want to have a door until it's certainly a certain height, and many of them have been found that they are complete concrete all the way up to the door. But yes, you would have to take a ladder and pull it up. And they were also considered perhaps lookout towers. These monastery areas were places of security as well as places of prayer. Here's another view. This is more what you're gonna see Ireland looking like. A lot of the publicity photos has the sun and thing everywhere. It's raining most of the time, and even when you have a little bit of sun, as you can see in this picture, rain's just coming. Hello, it's Stephen Ransom, Ancient Building, my wheelhouse. Also, hello, Miss Martin or Rose in chat. Yes, hello. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely love it. I think every now and then they do still have masses there. Yay. But check this out. You can see the modern graves right in with the ancient ones. People have been worshiping and praying here, what, for 1,500 years. Here's another view of the tower, the round tower. Stephen Ransom says the sky reminds me of New York. Yeah, I could see that. Right. Ah, here is another one of the small buildings. I think this is one called the Priest House. It's where the priest would be buried. They're thinking that perhaps that's where the relics of Saint Kevin are, because that's where they would have all been buried, right in the middle of all these. So just a special little place put aside for the priests. You can see in the background St. Mary's. Was it St. Mary's Church or I forget what it was called. That's where the nuns were at. That there was some religious nuns also on the grounds. Look at that cross. Lots of really old crosses of the Celtic design. At first, I thought this was St. Kevin's Cross, but I don't think it is. I don't know if I have a picture of St. Kevin's Cross. It's called St. Kevin's Cross because it's like huge. Let me see. Let me make sure because I was about ready to say it was, but looking closer, it doesn't look correct. Uh, everybody Google. Yep, a lot of people tried to go and put their arms around it because it's like bit of a superstition that you'd get good luck, and I don't know, that one just kinda got to me because I'm okay if you wanna do that with the Blarney Stone or something, but not with the cross. No, you don't make my personal feeling was that. So, no, I did not try it. I did confirm this is St. Kevin's Cross. Gee whiz. I forget why I don't know why I was confused there for a second. Question from Stephen Ransom: what is the difference between a clear cross and these with the circle embedded? I have been told it's just a matter of practicality. What kind of stone you had, there is no special significance to it. That is what I've been told. Now, you can also get something called the St. Kevin's Cross as a medal. It's a lot of saints have different traditions associated with it. You're going to see that in a second with St. Bridget's Cross. And it says thy will be done like on each of the parts of the crucifix, and it is in a Celtic cross. Jacob, oh, he's saying hi. Hello. Here you can see clearer St. Kevin's kitchen. What makes this cool, it's a little church and just its own little round bell tower on top of it. Just adorable. But I'm sure very, very cold when all the time. I remember, oh gosh, this is a better view of it in another building as well. Our tour guide had told us about the fallacy that people would hide from the Vikings in the round towers. He said, "Trust me, if you had a Viking raid on a place like this, you would run for those hills behind you. That's where you'd have a chance. You don't wanna put yourself entrapped if a Viking comes and raids." And here you can see just how gorgeous it is. And there wasn't anything morbid about the graves. Again, it was something very comforting. Just, the communion of saints in action. All Right, so that is Glendalough. If you didn't ever think about going to Glendalough in Ireland, oh my gosh, do so. You will not regret it. And it's very close to Dublin. I forget how long it took me by bus. I think it was about an hour, hour and 15 minutes. But if you're driving, it's much quicker. Keep my eye on the time. All right, now we're going to move away from Glendalough and go over to Kildare. Here's Kildare. You can drive there as always, but it's also on the train route, which is why I was able to do this, because on this particular trip, I was by myself. So just took the train, went to Kildare. Once I was done with Kildare, got back on the train and headed down to Cork City. St. Bridget. St. Bridget. You see here with her special St. Bridget's cross and the flame. Maybe I'll mention the flame in a second. Significant when you see green, that will designate Catholic, and we'll see this in a second when you see the two different churches at St. Bridget. Yeah, they spell it Brigid. Usually it's technically, what is it, Bri Fada, and sometimes even breed. Aerial view, because I can't get up this high, obviously. This is what I was talking about when I said most of those round towers are not intact. This one, the top of it is completely off. And as usual, the door is well up. This one actually has stairs going up to it, but you may not enter. You can see the graveyard, the cathedral, and the general outline of the property. This was a monastery founded by St. Bridget. St. Bridget was a contemporary of St. Kevin, right after St. Patrick. St. Patrick, St. Columba, I knew him as Columkeel, and St. Bridget are the three patrons of Ireland. Is that a reed cross? It looks woven. Well, yes, it is. Well, that's the same. It's the St. Bridget's cross. St. Bridget's crosses are made out of reeds because of the legend, which I will tell you. If you do not have a St. Bridget cross, you need a St. Bridget cross. You will, and I promise you, you will find in every, especially Catholic home in Ireland, you will find a St. Bridget's cross. I have a St. Bridget's cross. People of Irish heritage have a St. Bridget's cross. It's something you have. It's what all the cool kids have. Now we're going to go to my photos. This was me walking from the train station. I just love the fact that you could see even now the tower from far away. It's like a beacon. If you were minding your own business in the Middle Ages, that's all you could see. It's like, oh, yay, I am going to go to the enclosure. It will be so awesome. Now, as I get closer, you can see the cathedral and the round tower. And I just love the way you'll go into Ireland, these things are right in the middle of the towns, because towns were built up around these monasteries. And they were protected. Well, relatively protected. There were some issues that happened in the 16th century. And here I am, walking up to this. This cathedral dates from the 13th century. A lot of it, though, was restored. I think that's why it kind of looks so good. I was the only person there in here. Let's see, I'm keeping my eyes. All right. This is inside the cathedral. Now, this was the last Catholic bishop for this diocese, and he was able to hold out kind of as long as he could. It took a while for some of the Reformation things to hit over in Ireland, and he was not martyred. He died, and then I think that was pretty much it. The dissolution occurred. If I am wrong on my facts, please correct me. But this tomb was lost and rediscovered in like am I right that it was 1971? I think it was very recently. If I'm wrong, correct me in the chat. One of these things was recently discovered in 1971. What was this guy's name? I'll have to look it up. I believe it was that late. It was either that or it's in the 1800s. I know that's quite a gap. Here is the sort of high altar. You can kind of tell what I was a little bit saying, that there's certain things missing in here, and at first it took me a second to figure it out because I don't know what planet I was on. Maybe I was jet lagged. But of course, you do not see the sanctuary lamp or the Blessed Sacrament or the crucifix because this was taken over during the Reformation. So this is no longer a Catholic cathedral. And I tell people that just to be careful, because I've known a lot of Americans that are like, I'm going to go to Sunday Mass at St. Bridget's Cathedral, and they don't realize there is no Mass there. So just be aware that usually if you see a cathedral in Ireland, you will not be able to have Mass. And there'll be a service, but it won't be the Mass. But you see, each one of these stained glasses is for each of the three saints of Ireland: St. Patrick, St. Columcille, and St. Bridget. See a bit closer up here. Look who is here. It is none other than Dad Man Walking. Hello, good evening. Yes, we're looking at St. Bridget's Cathedral. We already were at Glendalough with St. Kevin. Yeah, St. Bridget was a 6th century saint. Some muddled details about her life mixed in with a lot of legends concerning a pagan goddess with a similar name. So when you see her with like this eternal flame thing, it's like, well, that wasn't entirely Bridget, but the chicks, the nuns, they kept up the tradition, so why not? At least well into the Middle Ages, they did. Okay, here you can see some more of inside. See the pews, that's the pulpit, or is that the seat? That might be the seat, the cathedra. Quite possibly, again, I am floundering because, again, the architecture is off. Though it still has the cruciform of the of for what it was built, when it was built in the 13th century. Look at that baptismal font. This one dates well back and made out of stone. They don't believe that it belonged to the original cathedral, but why not? It's on display here. I think they might be able to. They still do baptisms there. I don't know. Probably they do. Why not? If I had something that old and cool, I would do the baptisms there. Just why not? Absolutely. Oh, and then here's a kind of an old cross. A lot of crosses in Ireland will look very crude, if you will. They were very natural, very down to earth. There you can see another St. Bridget's cross. Okay, let me tell you about St. Bridget's cross. So the legend goes, because everyone was all pagan and stuff. So there was some pagan that was dying. And St. Bridget wanted to tell the pagan dude about Jesus. and there were rushes on the ground. So the legend goes. So she took the rushes and wove them all together to make a cross, and it has that kind of off cross look, if you will. And that's called the St. Bridget's cross. So you will find them everywhere in Ireland and in most Catholic stores, bookstores all over the world. It's definitely a thing. All right, you can see here, looking up into the high altar, or what was the high altar. Again, so much history and so much sadness, some sad times. But yeah, for more than 1,000 years, yeah, the monks and the nuns were there. All right, this is outside. We have the round tower. And as I've told you before, this one is not as well put together. The top of it's kind of messed up, and they've put some wire on it. I think this is for safety so that rocks won't come and fall down on people and hit them on the head. That would not be cool. You can see the grayness present. This is the way Ireland looks most of the time. The only thing it's missing is the rain. Just amazing, though. These things are amazing. Oh, here's more from the graveyard. You can see the Celtic crosses. And oh, this is where like the ancient flame thing was kept for a while, or not for a while, for several hundred years. And goodness knows how long before. And it looks like some people have been lighting candles in there. But that's neither here nor there anymore. I'm not sure what the custom is nowadays concerning it, but they did stop it. They stopped it before the Reformation. I think I could Google it. Maybe they were sick of trying to keeping an eternal flame going in Ireland. That's dedication. Yes, it is precious. Ah, this is on the edge of the grounds. You can see these remains of what was the nunnery, I believe. All overgrown and everything, but yay. And the edges of the ground. It really is true in Ireland. All of the grass and everything is so green and everything because it's raining all the time. All right. And then I was going to tell you that, there were two of them because, Catholicism was outlawed. And after emancipation, it will not be uncommon that you will then find the Catholic equivalent for St. Bridget's. So this is where you can go to Mass. Mass will be here. So this is St. Bridget's Parish in Kildare. And one way you can tell, like, this is where something shows a history. You see the St. Bridget's cross with green. Green is a symbol of Catholicism. So if you see green, you'll know that it's a Catholic church with the St. Bridget's cross as opposed to another colored cross. So St. Bridget's Parish Church. So you'll often find the cathedral and then the parish. You'll see that I showed that in Kinsale as well. Just a note to make. And let me see. Look, you can go to confession at 11:30 and lots of masses and weekdays and all that. So that's St. Bridget's Parish. And a bit of a closer up look at the St. Bridget's Cross. Oh, and then we're back to my notes on J.R.R. Tolkien. Another video I may or may not use that quote. This was from Tom Shippey when I was gathering my notes for a video. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. So yay! So this is the beauty of ancient Christian Ireland and just the ancient buildings. If you do like a lot of these old things, it's really fun. Go back and look maybe at my Blarney Castle one if you like to see a castle, trim castle. And I mean, and you will find some really nice stained glass windows and stuff, but they'll be new. When I say new, in Ireland, new means like 100, 200 years old. So, yay. Yeah, this is not a lot of pictures going along with this. I'm running a bit low. I'm going to get more when I go back to Florida, but it takes a bit longer because they were not in digital form. Boots on the ground are always great. That too. Yes, yes. Well, and there is love and devotion for to all of these. So yes, I see the threes. Yes, lots of Trinity stuff. Gosh, I love it. Next time I go over there, I'm gonna maybe go see some more of those round towers because they're pretty badass. Well, I have some pictures of some ones like in the middle of nowhere, like really in the middle of nowhere. Like that's all that there's left from the monasteries after the dissolution. But look how old this is. Imagine having a tomb that old and all carved and everything. Yeah, I remember I was yapping with the dude in the car here because I think they saw, oh look, someone's coming in, so they came over. Not a lot of you won't find a lot of visitors here. Hmm. Gosh, I love it. Check that out. Yeah, look at that. This is the way it really is. This is the way it is in the publicity photos. Has any of you all ever been to Ireland? If you have, share, please. And if you don't want to share, that's fine as well because I think you should go. Ireland is a very beautiful place, and so far, it's not been burned to the ground yet, unlike our friends over in France. They're gonna have probably the worst Bastille Day in history. I don't even know if they're gonna be able to celebrate Bastille Day. Let's see. Stephen Ransom says, "Little red car could it be Satan?" No, that was a very nice caretaker, and he told me a few things about what we were seeing. And even when it is miserable weather, there's something just really cool about freezing and being wet, seeing these places. I remember going over to Blarney Castle often in the winter, oh, just so cold, miserable, but so Irish. The Rock of Cashel is another good one. That's the one where St. Patrick hung out. Also has a nice high cross. The tradition of high crosses in Ireland is also something that's really cool. Just gorgeous. Absolutely. I mean, look at this. Just look at it. These are great. Yeah, thank you. Well, it's God's creation, not mine. I our Ireland's been touched and hopefully they'll stay touched by God. Look at that. Just look at that. Darren M is here. Incredible photos, Teresa. I've only made it to Dublin. Oh dear. But I loved it. Look forward to exploring elsewhere in the country when I make it back. Nothing against Dublin. But Dublin's a city. You got to get out in the country. Well, one of these days, I've been saying this for quite a while with Drunk 3PO. It's like we meet in Dublin, and I'll take you to where you need to go in Ireland, what you need to see. And I think that would be really cool. We just meet at Dublin Airport so no one has to dox anybody. We just meet outside. We get a car, and let's just go. Because the main tours probably won't take you there. The main tours always take you to Blarney Castle. They'll take you to see the Book of Kells, and nothing against the Book of Kells in Dublin. Love the Book of Kells. It's gorgeous. They might even take you to Kinsale. They'll take you to Queen Cove, aka Queenstown, because of Titanic. But will they take you to Turles? Will they take you to the Old Head outside of Kinsale? They take you to James Fort. Will they even take you to Cork City? Cork City is the most beautiful city in the world, even though I know a lot of people think it's a dump. Well, it's the dump I love. Yeah. I think it would be really cool to go one of the times where they celebrate Mass there, like on those ancient rocks. That would just be cool. They do it at Munster Boych, I know, in the winter. I think during the feast day of I forget who. And I've seen a video of a priest that went up to Skellig Michael, made famous for a lot of people because that's where they filmed the awful sequel movies. And he went up to the little stone remains of the high altar. He brought his mass kit with him and started saying mass, and a lot of people joined in. It was really beautiful. And they've been doing it for thousands of years. And these were also places of learning. So when you think of all those beautiful manuscripts, or think about the Bible, think about all of those books. These were the ones that kept it alive. You had to do it by hand. And I imagine them sitting there freezing to death in this monastery. St. Bridget's place was also a place of learning with their little candles, just day in, day out. Their only job was to copy the Bible. Imagine if you were assigned Leviticus. Nothing against Leviticus, but my gosh. Just your whole life is spent on the begats or on some of the finer details of the law. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and come out of this. I just wanted to visit with you all a bit and share some more of my love of Ireland and some of my favorite places. I'm probably going to be hitting the hay. It is getting late here. It is getting late, and I know it is very early. The Irish are still asleep because usually they pop in when I do this. So when the Irish wake up, hello, thank you for being here. And thank you, Darren, Stephen Ransom, Jacob Ironside, Dadman Walking, Joriah's Lament, Jana, look, I got it right. Or Jana Banana. Jana. Oh, I suck. Jana. Corey. And Darren says, cheers, Teresa. Thanks for sharing. Well, thanks for being here. Always a pleasure. Well, thank you. Thank you. And if you wouldn't mind giving me a like, share, and a subscribe and watch some more of my videos, I am ridiculously close. I am less than 40 hours. 40 hours. So I will probably have them by tomorrow with your help. I do appreciate that. And so there we are. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day. And be certain, if you visit Ireland, You get your buttocks to Glendalough and St. Bridget's Cathedral.